What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the second episode of the Couchcast. We're not calling it Under the Cushions. We're going to dive deep into some mysteries and some spooky things and see what we could find out. And hopefully none of this is actually real because that would be terrifying, but I'm sure most of it will be. Anyways, I'm Jordan. Joining with me today is Bridgette. She is going to tell us all about something spooky, which is the mystery of Debbie Wolfe.
Yes.
So I haven't heard this either, so we're going to be on a ride together. All right, here we go.
I'm going to start off by saying this is not as crazy as Dallas Pass. Decided to go a little bit different direction with this one. This is more like true crime, unsolved happenings type deal. I did all of my notes in one sitting with a bright pink pen after a really bad day at work, so it's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah, the pink really pulls the murder mystery together.
I was writing about a murder, so I was like, man, I need something happy. It did not make me happy. The pink did not.
Should use a rainbow pen. Like switch pens.
Every other word. That seems like really daunting.
Can't not be
I
happy.
hate writing notes to begin with, so. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
The mystery of Debbie Wolfe.
I have my coffee, and I have bats on my...
There we go. I have a rabbit on my cup. It's less spooky.
I have bats, a moon, in a cup that I found at a thrift store. I think I found it for $0.25.
Hard to beat.
When we were in Atlanta.
It's because it's cursed.
That's probably why there are demons in our house.
Could be.
All right, so this story is about Deborah Ann Wolfe. Her friends called her Debbie, and it takes place in a place called Fayetteville, and I'll show you that on the map if you want to switch over there.
Yep, we could do that. Boom, for those of you who don't know where Fayetteville, North Carolina is.
Fayetteville, North Carolina, it's over that way, yonder. She lived about 4 miles outside of Fayetteville in a cabin in the woods by herself. You know, it was kind of off, but she liked that. She was 28 at the time, and this takes place in the year 1985. So I was a ripe young lass.
What? How old are you?
Old enough.
Okay.
So she was a nurse, and I was a little confused about what her exact role was, but I know that she was a nurse, and she either volunteered at the Veterans Hospital or she worked at the Veterans Hospital, but she was definitely a nurse.
Okay.
So the Veterans Hospital becomes a key point later on, and we'll talk a little bit when I get there. She had 2 dogs. She loved animals.
Mm-hmm.
She was a very nice young lady. You know, nobody really said anything bad about her. If you want to flip over to her, there she is in her lovely uniform. It was very hard to find pictures of her. There's like that one, and then there's like one other that's super tiny and cropped, and she
should have just blown it up.
It just really pixelated.
Decipher the pixels. Part of the mystery.
So, she went to work December 25th, Christmas Day, 1985. She was working at the hospital. Just a normal shift, nothing crazy. I read a few accounts that said that a coworker accidentally spilled coffee on her uniform that day, and it was just, you know, just an average day. She went home, no problems. She was supposed to go in on the morning of December 26th for work.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't show up. So now this was weird for Debbie. Everyone who knew her, including workmates, family, friends, everybody said that she was very responsible. She was like hardly ever absent, and if she was going to be absent or late, she always contacted her boss and her employers. So it was really weird. So they tried to call her house to check on her because it's 1985 and that's what you do. You don't just say, maybe they'll be in tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like they do now. They don't care. I live in the wrong time period.
Oh.
So they got no response from her home phone, so they ended up calling her mother, like you do. They called her mother Jenny Edwards. So Jenny and her friend Kevin, they called him her friend Kevin, but I think it was a boyfriend of hers, or maybe it was Debbie's boyfriend. That was very...
Can't boys and girls just be friends sometimes?
I don't know. It was very unclear to me, because in another thing, they called him her stepdad. That's why I was confused.
What?
Yeah. I was confused. But this guy named Kevin, his name's Kevin.
There's a man named Kevin.
There's a man named Kevin. I did not write down his last name because it doesn't matter.
There you go.
So Jenny and Kevin drove out to her cabin to check on her because, like they said, they couldn't get a hold of her, and that was really weird. So as soon as they get to the cabin, this is where it starts. starting to look a little fishy.
Mhm.
First thing that they noticed is that the yard was a complete disaster. And by disaster, there were beer bottles and beer cans all over the place. It looked like it had been trashed, which was also unlike Debbie. She was a very neat and tidy person, very organized, didn't like things out of place.
Okay.
The second thing that alarmed them was that she had 2 dogs that I mentioned earlier, and they were both running loose around the house, like outside. Normally, she kept them chained up if she wasn't at home.
Okay.
And the dogs were also reportedly very, very hungry, as if they hadn't been fed in a while.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Do you know when her last day at work was?
The 25th. This is
Okay,
the morning
so
of
it's
the 26th.
just like the next day.
The next day.
And people are like, what's going on?
Yeah, because it's not like her.
Yeah, okay.
That wouldn't happen today, because today, like, they're just like, you have to wait 48 hours.
But she went to work on the 25th,
Mm-hmm.
and the dogs looked like they hadn't been fed in, like,
A while. That's the thing that I read. I took it to mean, like, a day.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But the dogs were very excitable. They were running around crazy. They were loose.
Okay.
And that was also very strange. You want to click to the next picture? That should be a picture of the cabin. Yeah, so this is the cabin. This picture was taken years later. The cabin now sits abandoned, and we'll talk about why. But this is a picture of the cabin. And if you click to the next picture. Also on property. Also, that's her work. I got them out of order.
Oh. Well, there's the hospital that she
That's
worked
the hospital that she worked at, I think.
You think? I mean, it kind of looks like a school.
I googled Veterans Hospital, Fayetteville, North Carolina, and that's what came up.
Oh, God.
But there were lots of pictures of that building in the Google image search, so I was like, that's probably it.
That's close enough. It looks like a building. Let's just take that. It's a building. Probably looks similar to that one. It's fine.
I'm gonna click the next picture.
Yep. There's no waiting period. There was a waiting period for missing people, actually.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be one. There's not anymore. What was the case?
I'm sorry, what?
For waiting, for missing people.
I think it's like 48 hours.
It used to be.
But I think it's different now. Technically, so I was reading about this off topic slightly. It's my understanding, I haven't done very much research into it, but it's my understanding that a person can be reported missing as soon as possible now. The police don't like to do it, so you've really got to like jump through hoops to get it, but the police will do a missing persons report if there's reasonable doubt that something's wrong.
Yeah.
But I think it is different now, but I don't know the case that changed it or anything.
Oh, I swear that there was one.
I do know that there was a case not too long ago, sort of with missing persons. This dealt with a 16 or 17-year-old girl. Previously, to do an Amber Alert, they have to have some inclination that child has been kidnapped.
Oh, maybe it was that. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
And I know all about that case too.
Yeah.
But that's a weird one as well.
Yeah.
But no, so this girl went missing, this teenage girl. But they couldn't do an Amber Alert because there was no reason to believe she'd been kidnapped. And her parents were like, what? So they found her dead,
Wow.
Long story short. And so that changed the laws, especially in West Virginia, which is where it happened, West Virginia, Pennsylvania. That changed the laws that said if a child is gone, regardless of whether or not you think they are kidnapped, in trouble, blah, 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 you have to put out a search. So that altered the Amber Alert.
Anyways, back to what we were talking about.
Yeah, because I've been,
Okay.
That's what I read about on the weekends. So click the next picture.
Okay, let's go to the next picture.
Okay, so she also had a pond on her property. It was pretty expansive. Like I said, she was only 4 miles outside of Fayetteville, but it was pretty big.
Okay.
She had a lot of property going on. So
did she live in like the sticks?
Yeah, just sort of out there.
Okay.
I was reading about it because you can still technically go to the property. It's run down. There's nobody living there, obviously. And the way that they described it is like you have to go through this road that goes through the trees. Like it's back in there.
It's in the woods.
And she was secluded, but it's 1985. Like you don't really, or 86 or whatever it is. Like you don't worry about that stuff,
Right. Okay, so she was at work 25th?
25th.
Doesn't come home the 26th, then people are freaking out.
Well, no, she didn't go to work the 26th.
Yeah.
So her mom, Jenny, and this guy named Kevin, who just hangs out apparently, went to her house to look for her because they were like, that's not Debbie. That's not what she does. Like I said, they found the yard. Her dogs are loose. The yard is crazy. There's like beer bottles everywhere, trash everywhere. It looked like somebody had like thrown a party or something. Um, they find her. They go into her house. I don't know if it was unlocked or if they had a key that wasn't specified. But they did go into the house, and the house was also trashed. Things had been thrown around. Her purse had been shoved under the bedroom, under the bed in the bedroom, which was weird. They found her uniform laying on the kitchen floor, her nursing uniform. So it's just complete chaos in the house, and they're just like, "This isn't Debbie. Something's obviously wrong."
Yeah.
So immediately they call the police. There's no sign of Debbie whatsoever. I don't know if she had a car, if the car was there. They never mentioned a car. So that's one thing I thought about. I was like, well, was her car still there? While they waited for the police to show up, Ginny and Kevin searched the property thoroughly to find Debbie. They went through her property. They shit a pond. They looked through the pond and they didn't see anything. There were no signs. They also found an unheard voicemail message on her phone.
Okay.
And I have a clip of that if you do want to hear it.
Yeah.
Can you play that?
We can play that.
So this is the clip of the unheard voice message. So it was blinking saying, hey, she's got a message. So they listened to this, and this message was left a couple hours into what would have been her shift on the 26th.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Here we go.
Hey, Deb, missed you here at work today. Just wondering how you doing. If you're able to give me a call up here at the ward, I'm at 822-7007, or I'll give you a call home tonight. You've been out a lot of days. You made me worry when you missed another one. Just want to make sure you're okay. Bye.
Hold on. We're going to play that one more time. Hold on.
Yeah, listen really closely to what he says.
Hold on. We're going to play that one more time. Everybody hang on.
Hey, Deb, missed you here at work today. Just wondering how you doing. If you're able to give me a call up here at the ward, I'm at 822-7007, or I'll give you a call home tonight. You've been out a lot of days. You made me worry when you missed another one. Just want to make sure you're okay. Bye.
Okay,
so she was contacted. Who was that supposed to be now?
We're gonna get into that.
Oh God, it just keeps getting worse.
Okay, so originally it is classified as an unknown male caller.
Really?
It's nobody that she works with. It's nobody at the hospital. You should have noticed that the man said something along the lines of that he was worried about her. She had missed a bunch of days. He was worried that she was going to miss more. Give her a call. Like, it was really weird because she hadn't missed any days. This is the first day that she's missed, right? So he says, it gets me worried when you miss days. I haven't heard from you. Give me a call. Maybe I'll call you later tonight. That sort of thing.
Do you know the date that this was posted? Like, when was this recorded?
The voicemail?
Yeah.
The 26th.
It was recorded on the 26th?
Mm-hmm. The voicemail was left on, so let's say she was supposed to go into work at 8 a.m. the 26th.
Yeah.
It was left at like 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. that day.
Okay.
Okay?
I'm preparing myself. Here we go.
So this was weird because Debbie hadn't been absent for work. She hadn't missed any days. And like I said, it had been left a couple hours indoor shift. So that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Moving on, like I said, her mom and this guy Kevin, classic Kevin.
Classic Kevin.
Excuse me. So Ginny and Kevin searched the property, couldn't find her. They looked in her house, they looked in the pond, she had like a shed outside. Nothing. So the police get there, and they search the property with dogs, with like scent dogs, and they find no trace of her. Like, the dogs don't leave the property. They can't find her. They don't know what's going on.
Almost like she didn't even get there.
Yeah, so it's almost like she hadn't even been there. It was really weird. Now, the police started investigating, obviously, where she might have gone, who she might have talked to, who was this guy on the phone, that sort of thing. There were two men at the ward, at the Veterans Hospital, that had a romantic interest in Debbie, but she had told them that she had a boyfriend. And this seemed weird to me because some reports that I read said that she did for sure have a boyfriend. Some said that she didn't, so maybe she was lying to get them to leave her alone.
She may have just been,
girls do that, They eventually did track down these two men. But that here in a second. So while this whole search and everything is going on, Jenny, Debbie's mother, gets really frustrated with the police. Like, she doesn't feel like they're doing their job. They're not searching everything properly. They're not doing, she just feels like enough isn't being done.
Right.
Yeah, I'll give them back in a minute. Okay, so remember, she went missing the 26th. Police just kind of did a basic search, nothing. So on January 1st, Kevin and his friend Gordon, all right,
Okay.
apparently Gordon or Kevin both, one of them, had some history with, like, search and rescue.
Okay.
Like, so they kind of know the routine of what to do. So they got frustrated. Jenny had hired a private investigator to look into stuff because she was frustrated with the police not doing their job. And so Kevin and Gordon go back to the house to do another, like wipe down and see what they can see. I'm surprised that they were let back on the property. I didn't realize they would let them back on until the crime had been solved, I guess. Because it's technically an active crime scene.
That's a little strange.
But Kevin and Gordon went back to the crime scene, and this time around, they find footprints and drag marks toward the pond near her house.
This is like a week later,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just now finding...
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right, I'm in for the long haul. Here we go.
All right. Okay. So I got like 2 more pages.
All right,
I got a couple more things. So, where do I start with this? Because it's a whole thing. So they see the drag marks leading towards the pond, and they're like, well, that's kind of weird. So Gordon goes in. He goes diving into the pond. It can't be very deep. I think it's like 6 feet deep or something like that. It's not crazy. And after 2 minutes of searching, literally 2 minutes of searching this pond, he finds a 55-gallon oil barrel, like a burn barrel.
Yeah.
In the water that she had used to store firewood. Like, her mother recognized it. And we'll talk a little bit more of that in a second. But Debbie was inside of the barrel, deceased.
Okay.
So the barrel itself was found 30 feet from the bank and only 5.5 foot deep.
It's like right there.
Yeah.
It was like right there.
And
Nobody
the police
noticed
were like, we searched it. It's cool. We searched everything. All right. We searched everything. It's fine. The police later said that they did not search the pond because, quote unquote, her mother and Kevin had already searched the pond, so the police didn't feel like they needed to. These are civilians, like, okay?
That's weird.
So she was found 30 feet from the bank, 5.5 feet deep. Okay. This is where it gets kind of strange, okay?
As if it hasn't already.
Oh, it gets worse.
Oh my god.
So she was found wearing a bra that was 3 sizes too big, pants that were too long for her frame, and a men's size 6 Nike shoes that would have been way too big for her feet. She was also wearing an army field jacket that did not have any way to trace it back to who it belonged to. Her mother and Kevin did not recognize it. They didn't know that it belonged to her. She was also found in a t-shirt that they didn't recognize as well.
That's weird.
Okay. The shoes, the Nike shoes that she was wearing, had no mud on them. Okay. So, she was also found to have multiple abrasions on her fingers, which were defensive wounds or could be conceived as defensive wounds. Her body was in a relaxed, not frantic, like if she'd been drowning. She only had a half a teaspoon of water in her lungs to suggest that she was unconscious when she went under, or dead already.
Yeah.
The barrel, so when the police came and took her body out of the barrel, they left the barrel, and they were like, we'll pick it up tomorrow. Later, they said that the barrel disappeared. All right, so the barrel just was there one day, and the next day it was gone. The police claimed there had never been a barrel. They had never seen a barrel. She was just found in the water. That's what they said, right? A deputy later admitted to seeing a barrel on the property, but officially it did not exist.
Huh.
Her mother identified the barrel as the one that she used to hold firewood in next to her house. Her mother actually states that she went back to the side of the house where the barrel normally was, and there's like an imprint, but the barrel's gone, completely gone. Nobody knows what happened to it. So Jack Watts, the police captain, denied that the oil barrel had been there, and he ruled her death an accidental drowning. And this is the official quote. Her dogs were running loose when the family members and the sheriff's department first met over there. Possibly, she was playing with the dogs and fell in. And her official cause of death is a drowning.
Really? Just tripped and fell right into that barrel.
Yeah.
Wow. That's... Huh.
Okay, so then I've got a couple more things I could tell you. So you remember the voicemail that we just listened to?
Yeah.
So the voicemail, they tracked down the two guys that had an interest in her.
Right.
One of them had an alibi, like solid, and he took a polygraph test and he passed.
Mm-hmm.
The other guy, of course, they never released names or anything. The other guy refused to take a polygraph test, and right after he was pretty much questioned by police and cleared of being involved, he was also identified as the man on the phone.
Oh, okay.
But after he was cleared, the police, because he wouldn't do a polygraph test, he then fled the state.
That's weird.
And now he's gone. Like, he just left the state. And he was like, I'm not going back.
Huh.
Okay?
Okay.
So that's my case.
So...
Officially on the record books, it is an accidental drowning, and it is a closed case. So nobody's looking into it anymore.
She was in a barrel.
No, the barrel didn't exist, according to police.
So in the police report, they just completely removed the whole barrel?
Yep.
How do you remove a person being inside of a barrel?
They said that she had been found in the water.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And that's why I told you all this stuff about, like, there was, like, barely a teaspoon of water in her lungs. There was, like, her body was relaxed, not like she was trying to, like, claw her way to the surface if she had fallen in naturally.
Yeah.
And the weird thing to me, too, is nobody had noticed the drag marks and stuff, which almost seems to me like she'd been killed and then, like, moved after the police had left.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Thrown into the...
Like, she was killed, shoved into the barrel, maybe.
I've actually got a picture of what the barrel would look like if you want to. They didn't have a picture of the exact barrel, obviously, because it doesn't exist. It should be the next one. Yeah, so one of those. And it's just like a burn barrel, and she'd been, like, stuffed inside of it. But all of her clothes that she was wearing were either way too big, too long, or unidentified.
That's really weird. And it was a men's size 6?
Mm-hmm. That's a picture of her property. Again, it's really overgrown. And the last one, I think, is, December 26, 1980.
Okay. That's, okay, so Kevin... My brain, I'm trying to process all of this.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know the name of the other dude who fled the state?
They can't release that information.
Why?
He's not a valid suspect. He got cleared.
What was his alibi? Did they say?
I don't remember. They just said the police just reported he had an alibi that checked out. He refused to take a polygraph, but he got cleared.
Was she, like, in a position... I mean, she was just a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like she was somebody, like, with influence or, like, importance or...
Here's the thing, too. So Fayetteville has a base nearby, an army base.
I didn't know that because...
That changes things.
Okay.
She also works at the Veterans Hospital, or at least volunteers.
Yeah.
So she was wearing an army jacket. The idea is that if it is like an army veteran or something, if the police... Come on, the police are going to cover that up. If it's like a friend, if it's a small... Because especially at that point, it's probably like a smaller, more niched, like, community. I firmly believe that the police covered something up. I think that's exactly what it is.
So? But, like, why then? That's the main question, like, why? What is there either to gain or what's there to hide? Like,
well, think about it. If a soldier does something wrong, like, we don't know why he was at the hospital anyway. If he was at the hospital, let's assume that there's a soldier at the hospital who's infatuated with her. She turns him down. He gets irritated or whatever. PTSD is huge, you know. Maybe he slipped and killed her somehow. I don't know. And the thing about it, too, is so once they ruled it an accidental drowning, there was no other, like, studies done on her body at all. So
really?
There was I couldn't find any reports of a rape kit being done to show if she had been raped or molested in any way before she died. There was no drugs or alcohol in her system. There was no like further, because they just wrote it off as a drowning and nobody did anything else.
There was nobody that saw her leave work on the 25th?
The weird thing too that I read, so they found a short-sleeved nursing uniform on the kitchen floor.
Okay.
Her coworker firmly remembers her wearing a long-sleeve nursing uniform the day before that she had spilled coffee on. But that one was never found.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. That's not the one that they found in the house.
Okay, so she was in a... Hold on. Let's piece it together, because my brain right now... Okay, so she's found in a barrel.
Mm-hmm.
She's wearing an army jacket.
Mm-hmm.
She's in an alleged barrel. She's
Mystery
wearing
barrel. It doesn't actually exist.
She's wearing a military style
It's an army jacket. It's like an official
legitimate...
order, but there was no way for them to trace it back to who it belonged to.
Okay, so she's wearing a military jacket, army jacket. She's wearing...
I think she was also wearing like a Steelers t-shirt or some sort of like team t-shirt, but her mom doesn't know that. Doesn't know the t-shirt. Her mom didn't know the t-shirt, for one thing. And for another, she was like, I don't even think she likes that team. You know, it's one of those things. She was also wearing men's shoes.
Tiny shoes.
Size 6 men's.
I wear a size like 10.
So they were size 6 men's, but
baby feet.
They were...
They're looking for a tiny-footed military man. Very tiny military man.
A baby-footed...
He's like a ninja, dude. They put him in a cannon, they just launch him.
They put him in a barrel.
Go, little tiny foot ninja man.
He just scampers around.
He just scampers behind enemy lines.
She was also wearing a bra that was 3 sizes too big.
That's weird. Hold on. That's weird.
Okay, so I am fully behind the whole that's weird thing, but at the same time, I also know, being a woman, that some bras have a quote-unquote sister size.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if a woman is, like, a 38B, she might be able to fit into a 32D because of the way that cups and stuff. It's weird.
Well...
But I don't know if that was the case for her. I just know that sometimes that occurs. But her mom also stated, like, that's not the size she wears at all. Why would she buy that? You know?
Her mom know her bra size. That's weird, too. What kind of bra was it? Was it actually, like, bigger, or did it, like, because it's in the water? Maybe... No,
it was actually bigger. Like, it was like a D or something.
Is it a regular, like a wire bra? Mm-hmm. Or was it like a sports bra?
No, it's my understanding it was just a regular wire bra. And her mom would know her bra size because that's the way mothers and daughters do sometimes. And her mom were close, too, so that's...
Okay, let's piece together a story then.
Okay.
Deborah.
Good luck.
Deborah. She volunteers at a veterans hospital. There are 2 dudes.
Or works at.
She's around a veterans hospital.
She's there.
She's there. She works there. These 2 guys are infatuated with her. And she's like, nah, man. Cat feet. And they're like, hey, that's not cool. You know? But they're like, whatever, it's all good. Now, the first dude, not the guy who disappeared, what did he say?
He had an alibi. I don't know what that alibi was, but he also took a polygraph test, and he passed.
And he passed. Okay, so he's just like...
And he was like, no, I didn't have anything to do with it. Like, he was very, like, forthcoming. That was my understanding. He was like,
it's all good. I didn't murder anybody.
I didn't do anything. I don't know.
Okay. So then you have the second guy. Let's just assume that he's in on it.
Mm-hmm.
Was he working at the hospital, or was he a patient?
That was unclear to me in the research that I did. The way I read it was that he was a patient, but I don't know.
Well, it's a veterans hospital. I mean, he could have been...
I don't know for sure.
Okay, let's say that the jacket is his. Let's just say the jacket's his. Let's just say he's in the military. He's at a veterans hospital because he's wounded or whatever.
Right.
So, he gets turned down, and he doesn't like that. That's a bad thing. Well, why would he murder her? That seems extensive.
Maybe.
Why would he murder her and then shove her into a barrel?
Well, panic, for one thing. Well, because think about it. Because the barrel is right there next to her house. So let's say...
So she leaves.
This would be my storyline for that. Like, I would think, if that's the person we're going with, I don't think he set out to murder her purposefully, maybe. The thing to me, though, is, like, remember, her yard is trash and her house is trash.
Okay.
But the thing is, too, like, I just could imagine him, like, he's irritated because she turned him down, so maybe he, like, follows her home, or he goes to find her at her house, and He tries again, and she's like, "Look, no, stop, you creep!" And he
Something
snaps.
accidentally happens. You said that her purse was under the bed.
Her purse had been like shoved under the bed. Yeah. And the thing is, too, like, she, from what I could read about it, like, she had no signs of, like, trauma.
So she wasn't like struck or.
Yeah, so she wasn't, like, the only, like, signs of, like, trauma on her body really was, like,
Is it her fingers?
her fingertips, and it had some abrasions on them, like she'd been fighting back against something.
Okay.
So I don't know. There was no talk about, like, a head wound.
There's no, like, lacerations or anything on her body?
They didn't mention it. But at the same time, you have to remember, the police report only reported her as accidentally drowning. Why would they release something that contradicts that? So that's what I'm saying. So if there was more on the body, they weren't going to say it because they were like, she drowned. End of. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Which is why it's also so weird to me.
Okay. He's angry. He follows her home.
Yeah.
Knocks on the door. What's up? She's like, nah, man. Bounce. And he's like, nah, man. And he forces his way in.
Okay. There's a struggle.
There's a struggle. The shirt, you said the nurse's shirt wasn't hers?
They don't know if it was hers or not.
Okay.
That was a little, like, iffy thing. It was just a little extra thing I read, was that they found it on the kitchen floor, and it was a short sleeve, whereas the one that her work reported her wearing the day before was a long sleeve one that had a coffee stain on it.
Okay. So
but the long sleeve one was never found at the scene either.
I mean, it seems like a lot of things weren't found at the scene either. So he goes in, there's a struggle. The shirt, maybe she threw it at him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, who knows? You said it was in the kitchen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's a struggle. She throws something at him. He gets angrier, pushes her down. Not enough to, like, majorly do anything, you know what I mean? She's fighting back and he pushes her down. I don't know, because how would she die?
How would she die? Because
she has to die before she gets into the barrel.
Yes, that's what they definitely decided. And the thing is, too, like I mentioned, the fact that they didn't find the drag marks or the footprints to the pond after they searched it thoroughly the day before or whatever is weird to me, which almost makes me think that she had been dead. Somebody panicked after they realized that cops were all over the scene, and they, like, shoved her in a barrel and, like,
and then moved her after they had searched it.
That's kind of what the feeling I got from it, at least.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's kind of weird too because there are dogs.
Yeah, the sniffer dogs.
Yeah, and they would have found. How do you not find a body in a barrel, like, as a police dog? You know what I mean?
Beats me.
The barrel.
And remember, originally the police were like, oh, we didn't search the pond because we figured that her mom had searched it. I'm sorry, what? You're the police officers. What the hell is that about?
Yeah, that's really weird.
It's a clear and evident pond. It's not even like it's a big pond. It's like 6 feet deep at most.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to search that and spend, like, the 10 extra minutes just to go over that once over. And she was found only 30 feet from the shore. So it's like,
right there.
Are you kidding me? Like, when Gordon went diving
was there anything else in the barrel?
No. Oh, so I forgot to mention, the barrel, disappeared. And they were like, oh, she was just found in the water. The police's official explanation for the guy being like, there was a barrel, was the army jacket swelled up under the water and it looked like a barrel.
Wow, that's weird.
A shape-shifting jacket.
So what? I want to know what the explanation was for one. The barrel goes missing. Everybody says that there's a barrel.
No, not well. Only the non-police, except for that one police officer.
Like the whole family and everybody, they were like, no, there was a barrel with wood in it. Mm-hmm. Where's that barrel in the police's report of there being no barrel? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because you said it was moved and there was an imprint.
Yeah, there was an imprint where it clearly had been next to the house. Mm-hmm. And her mom was like, I'm here all the time. It literally always sits right here. Yeah. And it was gone. And when they took her body out of the barrel, the report was that the police told her, we'll come back and get the barrel tomorrow. We've got to get her body, do an autopsy, all that stuff. And then when they went back the next day, the barrel was gone.
That's weird. Did they say anything else about the autopsy? Was there any other information, just that she had drowned?
Well, no, they didn't even say that she had drowned. That's how they ruled it. But all the evidence points away to it not being a drowning. There was no water in her lungs. She wasn't frantic. She was relaxed. Her mouth was closed, or her mouth was open.
What if she was drugged?
They found no drugs or alcohol in her system.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
But I mean, like, if that dude either works there or is there at the Veterans Hospital, like, all the time.
Put something and wants something she drinks or eats, maybe?
Well, he could have taken a syringe.
No. I don't know.
He could have taken a syringe, pushed her down, maybe knocked her out, but not enough to, you know what I mean? Held her down, injected her, and she calms down. Then he freaks out and just starts drinking because maybe she died. Maybe he didn't expect that to happen. Maybe he didn't go there with the intentions to kill her. I doubt that he would go there with the intentions to kill her.
Right.
It seems really, like, over the top. But they got into a scuffle.
Yeah.
She dies somehow, or gets... I feel like she fell unconscious.
And he thought she was dead.
And then he was like, holy shit. And he either... Maybe he did go there and kill her. And then he injected her. You know?
I think this injection thing is kind of weird.
I don't think that that's too far-fetched if he was working at the hospital. If he was either working at the hospital or there all the time.
Easy, Dexter.
Dude, I'm just saying, dude. I don't know, was he wearing a pig mask and he's hiding in the shadows?
Might have been. I don't know.
Do you want to play a game? I'm just saying, dude.
I
It's
don't want to
weird.
play a game.
Because if there's nothing else, I'm so frustrated.
It's a really frustrating case, and I think the thing that bothers me the most about it is the fact that it is officially a closed case, and so no further research is being done on it. None.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even that it's a cold case that could be reopened, because you hear about it all the time, like, cases are reopened because they have new evidence. It's closed. Like, nobody's even looking in that direction. Other than, like, people like me who are, like, just kind of interested in trying to keep that story alive, you know?
Yeah. That's really strange. Let's see what Chad is saying. Does anybody have any thoughts, comments? Oh my god. You guys should play Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes on stream one day. It seems like it would be fun. I feel like I would throw a book.
Keep Talking and what?
Nobody Explodes.
Oh.
You ever played that?
No.
It's actually really fun. So one person gets a manual, like a PDF that you download, and the other person has a bomb in their screen, and you have to like relay what you're looking at so that I could talk you through how to
Oh, I've
disarm
seen that
the
before.
sides. Yeah.
That sounds... I think we'd yell at each other
We
a
could do
lot.
that.
We should do that.
I would be yelling a lot. It's the yellow wire! The orange wire? No, the yellow wire!
I think we would end up yelling at each
Oh
other
my
a
God.
lot.
Dude, we'd be the pros at that.
We'd be awful.
What's up, Beats? Mr. Random Pancake, how you guys doing? This seems more of a... let's see, Mr. Myth says this seems like more of a police were giant dickheads instead of blood voodoo magic. I mean, I agree. I just think it's weird. Maybe I don't want to believe that there's police corruption in the world. To this extent.
I disagree entirely. Okay, so I have spent a lot of time on the internet in this kind of stuff, and the number of times though that I've read stories where corruption may or may not have been a factor is like, especially in smaller towns and these little niche communities, like
It seems to happen.
there's a
Well, I mean, it's just like the last one, Dallas Pass.
yeah,
They were like, nah.
they're like, oh no, it's fine.
Yeah. That's really weird too.
Well, it's like David mentioned last time, the Ketty Cabin murders. There was a lot of police suspicious police work done there, and especially in like smaller communities like this. Like, think about it: if it's a veteran and he's got friends on the force that were part of the army or something, or he was on the force before he went into the army or something like that. Like, there's camaraderie there, and I think if he panics and calls somebody and is like, "Oh my God," like. I don't know. That's how I feel about it.
Maybe. Yeah.
Because
the beer throws me off too.
I mean, and one of the explanations I read about that with like the beer being trapped like all over the yard and stuff, at least, is that like it's Christmas night, a couple hoodlums just went out to have a drink and party and hang out. But that seems like such a weird thing to me. Like.
Why her house, though?
I know, right? It just seems really weird to me because it's not like it looked abandoned.
Yeah. She wasn't like... And there were dogs.
There were dogs running around just like...
She wasn't like a partier or anything. You said she didn't have a boyfriend.
She may or may not, but she was like very like quiet and kind of kept to herself, and like she was a nurse, she loved her job, she was very dedicated to what she did.
Was Kevin interviewed?
And not that I saw.
What about
Gordon? Gordon was the one that found her in the barrel.
Found the barrel
really fast. He found it in like 2 minutes,
yeah.
Which either means that he knew where it was, or it wasn't that deep, and the police suck.
That's strange too. What did you say he did? He was search and rescue.
Yeah, I believe him and Kevin both had some part in like search and rescue teams
Uh-huh.
around, you know, if somebody's missing in a building or whatever. Like, they had experience doing that sort of thing.
So they found the drag marks and the barrel a week later.
Like January 1st. Mm-hmm.
So she was moved. If they didn't see it the first time.
The thing is, too, it's like, going back to the police corruption thing, like, it would be nice not to think that it happens, but at the same time, police are people, and people are corrupt, like, indefinitely. People are corrupt. You know, it's just one of those things. And I think you gotta factor that in. You gotta factor in their humanity, man.
I guess so. Maybe
Once emotions get involved, like, I don't think they would cover up for just anybody, but I do think that there was either really shitty police work
Mhm.
or some sort of...
Was the
some
other
thing.
guy, did they say if he was anything like special?
I
You
didn't
know,
say.
like officer or something?
No, it did not mention that. There's the information on this case is like exceptionally limited, obviously, because the police don't release very much.
Mhm.
What I found was just
30 years. What's like when does it get released?
I don't know. It was actually, you know, this is one of those cases that I've heard about before, but it was really hard to find information on it.
Yeah.
Other than what I've heard
I
before.
wonder if we could email Fayetteville
Police?
court system, yeah, or police.
I don't know.
I wonder if they would contact us. That'd be interesting. Or if they would like send back some cryptically creepy
Email
response.
get the
We
fuck
don't
out."
talk about this anymore.
Like...
Please refrain from emailing us. Like, whoa, pause.
I will say, though, in doing stuff like this and researching this stuff, there are some topics that I'm kind of nervous about approaching and presenting in a public way because I worry, I guess. I'm paranoid.
About what?
I'm paranoid about, like,
we're going to get found out.
man, they might shoot us, Jordan. I'm very paranoid. There are some cases that I want to do, but I'm reluctant to because
Are we going to get blacklisted?
we might.
You're going to get put on a list somewhere?
We might.
Cases like what? Give me some examples. I probably don't know what they are, but...
Well, not cases per se. So the real Men in Black.
Mhm.
If you read about them, I don't know how much you know about the real Men in Black. I'll do a whole thing on them
I
one
know
day.
quite a bit about the fake Men in Black.
No, the real ones are much more terrifying.
Um,
So the real Men in Black have been known to make people disappear, and like they do really weird stuff. And like there's this one gentleman who reported on it. He's like, "Look, I had this meeting with the Men in Black, like these guys in black, not like you know, the actor's name,
Will Smith?
Will Smith."
Come on, dude.
I lost it. But he was like, you know, I met the Men in Black, not like Will Smith, but he was like, and they told me that because he was doing research into like UFOs and stuff, and they were like, stop, like they came to his door, and it was like this it's really weird, okay? But basically, like, there's a lot of like weird stuff surrounding that, and I just don't want to like talk about it too much, and them come find me. I'm so terrified of
Dude, you're
that.
so paranoid, man. It'll be fine.
We're gonna die.
I mean, if some dudes in full black suits and black sunglasses show up at our door, I mean, I will
They don't
push
wear
you
sunglasses.
out the door.
Thank you.
If they go, is Stephanie here? We need to speak to her. I'll be like, yeah, she's right here. I will
Supposedly,
just push you out and lock the door behind you.
supposedly they travel in shoes. They always look pretty identical. Supposedly, their skin is like super, super white, like very like mannequin-like, and it almost looks like their lips are painted on, like with like red lipstick. They're said to talk in a robotic, very monotone voice. A couple people who have met them say that if you engage with them for a while, when they leave, it's almost like they're running out of battery. Like they're very, very
That shit
slow.
is so fake.
Bruh.
That is so fake.
Bruh.
Dude. Quit your nonsense.
I'm not
That is the fakest shit I have ever heard.
There was an actor that met them. I'll look it up. I'll show you
my
later.
God.
But there was an actor, and he like talks about it because
Who?
I don't remember
John
his name.
Travolta?
No,
Tom Cruise?
no. I'll look
Are we
into
gonna
it.
delve into some Scientology shit?
Oh shit, yeah. The Church of Scientology is fucked up. I don't know if you guys read anything about this or know anything. Have you?
I
Have you
mean,
looked at no?
I don't know.
Okay, no. Beyond the whole, they're crazy. They think we come from aliens type deal.
well,
or
now we're
whatever.
gonna get shot.
I know, but beyond that, like there's like they do some shitty things to their members, like with like like shock therapy and like brain what is the word I'm looking for? When you wipe their brain of stuff, when you remove memories.
When you remove memories?
Yeah, it's like brainwashing.
Oh.
So there's like instances of like
So
brainwashing.
you're talking about like
just like
the needle with the hammer.
That's
Yeah, you know when they just like tilt you back and they just clap.
This will fix you.
Yeah.
No, but like
Lobotomy.
there's like
That's what I thought you were talking about. I was like,
that word gives
it
me
seems
like
intense.
the gross feels.
Lobotomy? Why? I can only think of Hannibal Lecter when I think of the word lobotomy. And a nice Chianti. I can't do that thing. Doesn't work as well. I'm not Anthony Hopkins.
I've never seen it, so
How have you never seen Silence of the Lambs?
just haven't.
Oh my god, dude.
But regardless, Scientology is also a weird one. We'll delve into that one day. There's like a lot of stories that come out of there that are like messed up, and it's not just they think alien. No, it's like they're fucked up, and they're like there's like a big like conspiracy apparently that like one of the high members of the Scientology church, they say she's just remaining in hiding. They're like no she's dead.
She's definitely not here anymore.
They've been like
At all.
here
In this plane.
in this realm of existence.
Hmm.
But no, it's really weird. So Scientology is another weird one.
Sounds like it.
I've combed the depths of the internet for like a lot of weird stuff.
Sounds like it, but I think we're gonna have to save those for next time. What's the next one? Do you have an idea yet, or?
So I think my next one is going to be the disappearance of Joan Risch.
Joan Risch?
Mhm.
R-I-S-H?
R-I-C-H-E. Risch, whatever.
Hmm.
So the disappearance of Joan Risch, I know a lot of it off the top of my head, but I want to get the details in order about like who said what and
Is
when
it like
and stuff.
this? Like, or is it?
What
is it like? Is it?
She's
her death a mystery, or is it just like?
There is no death. She's
missing.
She's missing. She is classified as missing still. She went missing in like 1961.
Huh.
Missing. But there was also a lot of blood involved, but we'll get into that.
Just everywhere.
And there's a lot of sightings and stuff.
Oh god.
It's an interesting one. I really like. It was one of the first ones that got me interested in like missing persons type deal. But Joan Risch is like a big one, and if you're interested in missing persons and the unsolved type deal, because it is sitting there on a shelf unsolved. It is still an open case.
That's really strange. Well,
do we have another comment?
Next time. That one? Mr. Myth says, I did some LSD and then I met the man in black.
I mean...
So there you go. I think that's a good way to cap off the episode right there.
Do you want to know a quick funny thing about ghosts that I learned?
Let's hear it.
Okay, so the White House is haunted.
Not funny.
I thought it was hilarious. Okay, so the White House is haunted. We all know that.
I mean, I don't know that, but
we're gonna talk about it one day. Apparently, Abraham Lincoln shows up when things get stressful, and also he really likes to play opera music from one of the fireplaces.
That Abe, what a jokester! What a jokester!
There's also a great story that says that Winston Churchill was staying at the White House, and Abraham Lincoln, like, he got out of the bathtub and he was like naked, and Abraham Lincoln's ghost was there, and apparently Winston Churchill, I don't know how true this is, but apparently he turned him and he said, "Well, Mr. Lincoln, it seems you have me at a disadvantage."
Okay, I mean, I believe that.
I love Winston Churchill. But no, okay, so the White House is haunted, right? Okay. Whatever. So when the Truman administration came in, his daughter, I don't remember her name, but his daughter was like, okay, Pamela Truman?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Truman Show. No, so his daughter was like, "Ooh, ghosts, I'm going to investigate them." So she went to Lincoln's bedroom, which is supposedly one of the more haunted rooms, and she was like hanging out, like waiting to see his ghost because it's really active in there. And apparently Truman had hidden in the closet in a sheet like before, so because he knew she was gonna do that, he's like, "Haha, honey, you don't know what you're doing." And so she was like waiting, and she was like trying to talk to Abraham Lincoln, and apparently he like bust out in a sheet and was like, "Oh!" And she never went back in that room ever again.
Amazing! What a badass.
Going off of that though, in the more recent Obama administration, his daughters had a sleepover, and so they were talking about the ghosts and stuff at the sleepover, and they were like trying to ask like the ghost questions, and apparently Obama was hiding behind a sofa, and he was like, "Obama's the best." It was just him like
Oh my
whispering
god, what a
from
badass.
behind the sofa.
Jesus.
So those are my fun ghost facts.
Amazing.
I heard them the other day and I laughed.
Oh my
so
god,
hard.
dude. Well, thank you guys for hanging out. This was the mystery, I guess.
The
I don't want to
mystery.
call it a murder, because it may not have been a murder, or allegedly it's not a murder.
She just slipped and fell into a barrel into the pond.
The mystery of Deborah Wolfe.
Debbie Wolfe.
Deborah Wolfe. Pretty crazy tale.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be it for us,
That's
guys.
all I've got. I'm so excited to get started on Joan Rish.
Yeah.
I feel like it's another one where you're gonna be like, hold on, let me piece together a timeline here because what the fuck?
Well, when can you have it ready by?
I can have it ready by Tuesday when your next day off is.
Tuesday. Okay. You want to shoot for Tuesday then?
We have to go grocery shopping Tuesday.
Tuesday evening or Wednesday.
After grocery shopping.
After grocery shopping. Post shopping. We'll be back. All right. Till next time, guys. Thank you all for hanging out. It's been real. It's been spooky. It's been
A wild ride.
confusing, like it always is.
I get upset with murders, like
You should.
more than like mysterious death. I think like knowing that somebody probably killed her is just upsetting to me.
And they're not caught.
Oh yeah.
And it was only like 30 years ago.
Just like hanging out, that like people just get away with that shit. That bothers me a lot too.
Yes. Unsettling, to say the least.
Not the best.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you all for hanging out. We will catch you guys later.